Hello, everyone. Before we get started on this live, I would love to say an affirmation beforehand. I love doing that on every live that I do. And the affirmation card that I have is I have everything I need right now for an abundant life. Yes. All right. So I am going to be talking about today basically I want to walk down memory lane because it has been a year since I have moved to Colorado Springs. I can't believe it's been a year. It really does not feel like that. It feels like it was yesterday since I just moved here. So I'm just going to answer a few questions. And to get started, I have one question that I want to start with, and it is what have I loved what have I loved about living here? Now, keep in mind, I am from New Orleans. So moving to Colorado Springs was really different. The landscape was different, the environment, the culture. And so I was really drawn to the landscape. When I was really little, I honestly didn't consider myself a nature person. And I really if you were to tell me that I were to move to Colorado Springs and be near the mountains, I probably wouldn't believe you, but my opinions around the matter changed, and I am nature a nature girl 100%. Um, Now bugs, that's a different story, but I just love the landscape here, the mountains. I love being able to walk outside and have the mountains be right there. No matter where you go, you can go to a Walmart, you can go to Target, and the mountains are always there with you. And yeah, waiting for you to just admire their beauty. I love it. Being here has a different energy. I just feel almost in a sense a little bit of healing vibes. And I really do genuinely believe that just the overall atmosphere here is completely different from New Orleans, and that's what I love about it here. And I absolutely love just the closeness of all the adventures that you get to go on here. Now, it's more so the outdoor world instead of the indoor world. I mean, there's malls, there's different things that you can go to, but if you're moving to Colorado, what mainly people do here is hike. So there have just been a lot of different hiking adventures, so I have loved that. And yeah, and the list goes on for sure. So my next question that I'm going to get into is how have I grown or changed? Hmm. Well, I can tell you that I'm not the same person since closing that Penske truck and making my way all the way over here. I am completely transformed anew and I have no regrets. So I feel like when you move to a different state or a different country for that matter, it kind of forces you to grow. And that's kind of how what I experienced whenever I moved here. And I could see it in myself because when you do something that's physically a physical change, like moving your living space of where you live, that in a sense is almost going to build your credibility of how many times you have stepped outside of your comfort zone. And and that way, whenever I did move, that was out of my comfort zone. And when I did that, I felt like it just started a chain reaction within myself because then I believe that if I can do this, if I'm able to pack up all of my belongings and go to a different state, into a different city where I basically have only been one time, then I can do a lot of other things that I am uncomfortable with. And so that kind of led me to try different things that I probably wouldn't have done in the past, such as this live right here. This is what I'm doing, and I probably would be terrified to do it a year ago, or starting my own business for that matter. I was terrified of that whenever I first started or just thought of the idea, and here I am coaching clients. And I even created my own self love program that is going to help change women's lives, which I am just blown away about. And I'm so proud of myself for just believing in myself. I feel like, yeah, that's what it did is moving in a sense, in a way, helped me to believe in myself more and to trust myself more because definitely whenever we were getting our things together and actually physically moving them out of the truck, the reality started to sink in and I began to really realize, oh wow, this is happening. I am moving right now. All of our stuff is is actually getting into this apartment in the Springs, not in New Orleans, like a reality hit. And so, yeah, I just kind of felt like if I was able to overcome this huge life-changing thing, then I am able to overcome many things that come my way. So that is how I have really grown over this past year. Now, and there have been other ways too, but I just wanna really stick with that one for now. And another question that I have is, what were my favorite adventures? Oh, actually, before I get into that question, I actually wanna I actually want to say a little bit more about how I have grown. So I've actually seen some mental changes in my mindset, but also just I wanna say overall, I wanna say I've also seen changes in my yeah, let me just stick with mindset. And here's what I mean by that. So sometimes during our hikes, we go and you get to the top, and normally there are all of these huge rocks just waiting for you to climb on. And Cooper is the type of person to just run on top of it, pretend like he's falling, frailing all over the place. And I'm over here in the beginning, whenever we were going on hikes in the beginning of our move, and my legs would be shaking. I would be terrified. All I could think about was, oh my gosh, I am going to fall and I am going to regret this. And I didn't think that it was fun. And I did not think that I was even capable of standing up on the rock near the ledge. But we actually went on a hike with my sister who came to visit me maybe like a month ago. And this was, get this was the exact same rock that we were on that my legs were shaking. The the year in the very first hike that we went on, that was our first hike, my legs were shaking, and here's how I could tell that I had changed, because I had first of all I chose to get on that rock, no questions asked. It was my own choice. I was like, "You know what? I just wanna see if like how I approach this, if fear is gonna come over me and wash over me, I just wanna see what happens because it had been so long since that very first hike. And I get on the rock and I am steady. My legs are perfectly straight. I feel grounded even when I am thousands of feet up in the air. And I just start dancing on the rock. And that in itself, I was just so amazed because I knew that I had overcome that fear of falling or just just allowing myself to trust that I was going to be okay. Just trust the moment, allow the universe to work its magic on me and let alone. So yes, I wanted to mention that before moving on to the next question. But the next question is what adventures were your favorite? Hmm. Well, it really honestly depends because depending on the certain season that you choose to do your hikes, it's going the scenery is actually going to look different. So if you hike during the winter time, springtime, or summertime, or fall, the actual trail itself is going to appear differently. During the fall, you get those bright, beautiful colored leaves. And during the winter, you'll probably end up seeing ice and snow. And during the summer, you'll get those flowers. So I feel like I honestly love all the seasons depending on, yeah, that I feel like, yes, I would say that I love hiking in all of the seasons. It's really hard to choose just one because they're all so beautiful and they just bring out a bunch of wonder in their own way. But I would say that one of the best hikes, in my opinion, that Cooper and I have been on is one that reminds me of Narnia. And it's literally like the scene that Lucy gets from tackling all those fur coats, and then you go and she pulls out the coats, and all of a sudden, she's in the wardrobe, and then now she's not, she's in this winter wonderland. That is what this hike looked like. Because there was I don't know if y'all saw, it might have been in my one of my other YouTube videos, probably called Colorado Adventures Part 1 or Part 2. But in there, I had mentioned one of the hikes, and this is the exact hike, and it is still my favorite because there was just this sheet of ice that was so thick that you can basically skate on with your own shoes. And that in itself was so fun. And we didn't even get to the actual hike. That wasn't even, I mean, that was kind of the path that led to the hike. And already I was blown away by just the amount of fun that I was having. It just brought out this, I don't know, I guess it just brought out the sense of joy within myself. And so I really loved that one. And that hike in particular was called Columbine. And so if you ever travel here, I highly suggest going, especially when it's the winter time because it is so fun. And so, yeah, and but there are many, the list goes on, and we still haven't even covered everything that we want to see yet because every single time that you go on a hike, there are other hikes that are not part of the main hike. So you can go, let's say the hike is called, I don't know, Clover. Let's just say it's called Clover. I'm not even sure if there is a hike called Clover, but if there was a hike called Clover, you go to the main entrance of Clover, but then within Clover, there's all of these other different mini hikes that lead to the main path. So there is just so much to see and explore here, and we really haven't done everything that we wanted to do yet. But I'm excited because, which leads to my next question. What are your plans for the upcoming year? Now, Cooper was kind of thinking that he was going to get another job in Denver, but that may or may not work out. So we plan on staying in the Springs for another year and a half. and see where we are in our career paths and whatnot and see if we need to make any changes. But I have been just absolutely loving living here, so I really wouldn't mind staying for a couple more years, to be honest. Now, that is our plans for the upcoming year. We just plan on hiking as much as possible, getting getting the most out of our time here because I know that we're not going to be here permanently and I want to make the most out of our time here. I want to live. I want to feel alive and just experience as much as I can. So that's really our plans. And another question that I added on here is what has been challenging? Now, I spoke about this in one of my other YouTube videos about the Colorado move, I believe. But one of the things, there's two things. One is being away from family, and that has been extremely hard because I am such a family person, and it's one of my core values. So, just being apart for them from them has been really hard and has been a challenge for me. But I do how I overcome that is I try to just schedule in time for them. I really make an effort to communicate with them so that I don't feel so apart and I don't feel so detached or just disconnected from them. And so, really putting in that space and time to either give them a call or FaceTime has been really, really helpful. And also, they have made plans to come and visit me, which has been really helpful too. And I have taken many trips to go to New Orleans to visit them, such as during the holidays or during my friends' weddings. I'll come in town, but it has been hard. And but it has been, but I could say that it has gotten easier over time. That first initial week or 2, I was just bawling and I couldn't really figure out if this was ever going to stop. But over time, I do get little sad spells every now and then, but then, I just come back and maybe I send them a little text message to raise my vibration up again. Or maybe I journal it out and figure out, okay, this is coming back up for me of being apart from my family and the emotions are settling in. What is this saying right now? What do I feel inside? And what is that? What are these emotions trying to tell me? And so, really taking time for that too. And so, the second part that has been really challenging is when I first moved here, is finding friends, really finding a group of friends that didn't involve Cooper, my boyfriend, because I love him to death, but man, oh boy, do I need my friends and do I need my girls especially. So, who what I did was I downloaded the Bumble app, the BFF version. I know there's a dating version and now there's a business version, which I also have that as well. But I downloaded that app. And at first, I was kind of iffy about it because meeting somebody for the first time that you don't know and that you've never met can be scary in itself. But I just kind of had to be willing to put myself out there and be willing to meet new people because beforehand I was I would never do that. I wouldn't purposely try to meet new people, and wouldn't wouldn't try to put myself out there for sure and talk to a random person. A year ago, that was me. But then I realized just how much the loneliness was getting to me, and I realized how much I missed my friend group back at home, and I was like, "You know what? I feel like that is what's missing right now. I need to find this community here and really build myself a community so that I'm able to really expand my friend group in a way and just expand the amount of people that I know and who may be going through the same things as me." Because most of the people that were or most of the girls that were on Bumble, they also had just recently moved. So that was really, really nice that I was able to connect with other girls who are going through the same thing, who are also moving out of their own hometowns and coming into Colorado Springs, and it's so new for them too. And yeah, so I actually met a few girls on there now, and uh, we went on hikes together. I went to a few gatherings, like Thanksgiving parties, and so it has been so nice to meet different people from around the Springs area and from the Denver area because you can actually put your I think it's a mile range of where you live and how far you are willing to drive for your friend that you meet, so you can plug that into your settings. But another thing that has helped me with that too, if you are planning on moving and adulting can be hard finding friends, especially if you work from home like I do, and you don't get that work environment community, it's they do have an option where you can verify somebody to make sure that they're not disguising their person or their uh to make sure that they're not lying about who they are because it can happen. There are people out there that will do that. So there's a little blue verification but little icon by their name that'll let you know that they're verified, they're a real person, they are who they say they are. And so that helped me too whenever I was going for these meet and greets and it was like all these what ifs were coming up and I was a little bit anxious. I was like, what if they're an actual 50-year-old man that I'm meeting right now? So, yeah, but it all ended up working out. And it's just, I'm so grateful for that app because I really did. I found people who our souls were just aligned. And do you know how you just meet a person and your vibes just automatically are so just on the same level that there is no doubt that y'all were meant to meet? Those are the type of people that I have met on this app, and so I'm just so grateful for it because without it, I probably wouldn't have met them. It's just amazing. And so, my very last question is what is it like living here? Now, I kind of like what I said before, I feel like my adventure side has really sprung out, and that really surprised me. But also, I do want to mention a little bit about the snow that comes in. And right now, it's actually about to snow outside. So I really want to mention the snow because in New Orleans, it was a rare occurrence. I mean, we were lucky if we got maybe an inch of snow every other 7 or 8 years. I mean, that is how rare it is. And so when you move to a state that it snows not every single day, but there is a higher chance for it to snow more than, I don't know, 10 times a year or something like that. I don't know the specific statistics, but I was just really, really, really frightened about driving in the snow. I love to walk in it. I love to play in the snow. I know that. But I was a nervous wreck knowing that I was going to have to drive in it one day. And here's a little story that I'm going to share. So I had just gotten done with my job for Pet Gal, and I was on the way home, but whenever I parked in the house to go watch over their bunnies, it was an orientation I was doing. Another pet gal worker was with me, and we went in the house. It really wasn't snowing that bad. There was a little bit of snow on the ground. But then when we went out and we were done our job, it was like almost a blizzard outside. And my car, beforehand, there was no snow on the car, but now there's so much snow on the car. And I forgot to have a little ice scraper. And I'm just like, no, what do I do? So I literally just used a raincoat to wipe off the snow and to try to get the ice that had been already frozen on my car. But on the way back, woo, it was scary. So I'm coming down this hill, and keep in mind that this hill is not a steep hill. It's probably, I don't know, a slight hill. I was coming down the hill about to turn, and all of a sudden my car goes like this. And I don't even know what to do, but I am not pressing on the brake. I'm not pressing on the gas because I just want to slow down my car, but I'm scared to press the brake because what if I just go sliding even more? And the car was doing the same thing in front of me. But luckily, we were able to slow down. But that in itself, whenever that happened, I realized just how easy it is to slide whenever there had been snow collected and then it freezes on top and again and again. So, yeah, I have learned to just take it slow when it snows because it's better safe. Um, but yeah, but I mean, I just definitely if you plan on moving here or if you're gonna drive somewhere where it snows, definitely just make sure that you take precautions and are safe. Um, it's better to get home safely. But another thing that I would like to mention in this question, what has it been like living here? I just feel like for me, it has been it's like a healing journey for me. And I've grown to just love it so much and it's become a home to me. Finally, I can finally say that because at first it just felt so big and I didn't know anybody. And the only place that I could really feel like it was home was where my family was, but now I could really, really say that I feel like it has been a home for me. And so I'm glad that it's finally settled in and I could say that I love being here. And yeah, that was pretty much it for this live. I really wanna do another one next week. I'm kind of having, um, just some thoughts about what exactly I should talk about. I was thinking about having maybe some guided meditations, some breathwork sessions, or maybe mini mindset training. Since I'm a coach, I really want to provide support and guidance and healing to everyone. So please, if you have any ideas, comment below. And I want to leave off with please, if you haven't already, I would love if you go watch my Colorado move video. And also, there's another one. It's Colorado Adventures Part 1 and 2. But if you haven't already, please follow me on Instagram. My coaching Instagram page is blissfully.bloom. And also check me out on my podcast. You can listen on Anchor, Spotify, and I also post my podcast episodes on YouTube. And there's going to be a podcast episode available on Friday all about womb wisdom and Ayurveda, and a guest is coming on the show. So stay tuned for that. Thank y'all so much, and I will see y'all on the next live. Bye.